Everyone keeps saying that you need around $2,600 Canadian to build a decent game PC in 2026. And honestly, with how prices are right now, they aren't wrong. Today I'm going to show you how to build something solid for around $1,379 Canadian without getting ripped off, without getting scammed, and without getting scalped. So let's get right into the video. PC building in 2026 is not what it used to be. And I'm sure you guys have noticed that by now, whether you're a console gamer, or whether you're a PC gamer, or whether you're just an average mobile gamer that hasn't heard of a console or a PC in their entire life. RAM prices have shot up again. SSD prices have bounced up. GPUs are still unpredictable. The budget ones, that is. And if you go pre-built, you're paying builder's fee on top of everything. How ridiculous is that? Sometimes it's $150, sometimes it's $300, sometimes it's even more. What more do you want from us? And sure, you could go buy a Xbox or a PlayStation instead, but let's be honest, even now, you are not getting what you paid for. At launch, $750 got you 120 FPS, sometimes limited storage, high game prices, and no native internet support, and no multi-monitor support, random console bans, expensive controllers, limited keyboard support, and Game Pass prices that keep creeping up. So, what is this? Is this 1997? No native internet browser support in a console. And no multi-monitor support. Pretty ridiculous. So instead of dealing with that, we're building a PC ourselves using PCPartPicker. Of course, we won't be able to experiment with this in person due to financial constraints on this video. But depending on how much support we get on this video, next video we might get a chance to check that out. Alright, so we are at section 1 for the CPU. So let's start with the CPU. Since we're on a budget of 750 CAD, we are going to have to work very, very efficiently here. We're going to have to be good at picking out the parts, knowing where we can go down lower on and up higher on the budget side. And I'm going to tell you the parts that you should not worry so much about skimping down on the budget for, and parts that you absolutely have to go high up in budget for. These would include the PSU, the power supply. For obvious reasons, do not use a cheap power supply if you're going to have a baller CPU and GPU combo. It will fry your system, it will risk breaking your entire computer and wasting all the money that you ever spent. And it is not redundant, it might not last long, it might not have power certifications or anything like that, and it probably doesn't have a warranty either. So, with that being said, for the CPU, let's scroll down through the list and look here. Specifically, we're looking for Zen 4 or Zen 5 architecture. So I think in our budget, it's probably better off just to go for a Zen 4 architecture CPU. So I'm looking here at the Ryzen 7 7700X, and I feel like it's really good in our price range. It has an 8 core count. It's Zen 4, so it's last generation, and it uses a different CPU socket than the new generation. However, it is really good price to performance, but you will have to upgrade the motherboard in the future if you do want the switch. So depending on how much you want a PC and how much money you have to spend, it might be worth it just to get a latest generation CPU and motherboard combo if your budget is within that price range. But let's just select that. That's $300 Canadian, not American for you fellow American viewers. CPU coolers next. And I think for this build, we're going to go with an AIO because they're both cost efficient nowadays. They're really good build quality. They look cool and they keep CPU temperatures low. So as we can see, we have air coolers for like $34 around here. And if you're going to go for an air cooler, by the way, I would suggest going for the Thermal Right Peerless Assassin if you're on a budget, because this air cooler is really good. It's almost as good as the Noctua air cooler, except for the fan is not as good. But it's only 48 bucks. So if you're on a very tight budget, then go for that. But if you're on a little bit of a more flexible budget, go 40 bucks more and get the Thermal Right Aqua Elite V3. Just like the Corsair Nautilus 360 RS ARGB, it offers 3 fans and a 360 millimeter radiator. However, it cannot go up as high RPM on the fans, but it is pretty much a clone of the Corsair Nautilus, but more budget friendly. So right now we're at like 383 bucks. We're gonna choose our new motherboard. So for the motherboard, I think we might go with something. We're gonna go with something that's a bit more. So we're at 384 bucks. So we gotta aim for something that's 200 or less if we want to stay within our budget and allocate enough money for storage, RAM, etc. It is not too easy to build a PC on a budget nowadays. So if you're watching this video, I completely understand why you're here, and I feel your pain. So let's see. So we got the Asus TUF B650 Wi-Fi. That's $179. The more higher end motherboards like this one will run you $329. Do not worry too much about spending that much more money on a motherboard, because most motherboards that are 200 or 100 bucks have BIOS flashback, which allows you to flash back to the original firmware of your system if anything wrong happens in BIOS updates. But do never ever unplug your computer during a BIOS update, because that will completely mess up your system forever, and there's almost no going back on budget motherboards. So be aware of that. So the motherboard I have in my system is the I think it's the Asus Crosshair, I'm pretty sure. It's around $179. This is a smaller form factor motherboard. We're gonna go for ATX, which is the standard PC case size. So I think the best deal I've saw so far was the $179 Asus TUF Gaming. So I think we just go for this, man. To be honest with you, I think we just go for it. Right now we're at 566. Yeah, no, let me check again. I'm gonna check again. I'm going to. I'm gonna add a filter. The heck? I did not try to add that. Okay, motherboard. We're gonna scroll down. So I already found one for 162. 162. Can we go any lower than 162? I wonder. 67. And yeah, motherboards get up to $1,500 in price if you want something that's gold and looks really cool. Yeah, we're going to have to go for the 160, I think. Let's get for the 160, I guess. 162 Asus Gigabyte B650 Eagle AX. Let's go for that. It has 4 memory slots and 192 max memory. Now let's choose the memory. So our total price right now is at $549.65. So that would leave us with we have $200.35 to spare. So let's allocate that to the rest of our PC. And this specification of the system, it assumes that you already have a display, a keyboard, and a mouse. Just keeping that in mind. If you want to display a keyboard and mouse and you want to keep the budget at $750, you are not going to be able to sustain, and it's just as well to forget about getting a PC, because it will not be worth it. It won't have good enough performance, and there will be no point. So, memory. This is what's going to be really expensive nowadays. Very expensive. Very fast. I don't know if we'll be able to do this, but we're going to see. 500 gigabyte, 32 gigabytes of RAM, $500? Are we serious? This shit used to be 250 to 300 for that amount of RAM. That's crazy. Okay. I think we're gonna have to upper our budget a little bit. Yeah, screw it, bro. Screw it. We're gonna upper our budget, okay? We're gonna upper our budget. Our new budget is gonna be 1,000. Okay, $1,000 Canadian. Let's do it. So I'm gonna go with the cheapest thing that I have here, I think. We're just gonna go for something that's semi-reliable and also looks kind of good. The 349 T-Force Delta GP. This brings us at $899. Shit. No, our budget is $1,335. $1,335. That should be enough. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. Storage. Let's get storage. Storage. We are going to get a. Did I have a 500 gig here? I wonder. Let's do a 220. 300. I'm just gonna say 300. And for the SSD, we're not gonna do a M.2. We're gonna do a SATA. A SATA hard drive of a SATA 500. We're gonna see. Wow, things have really gone up in price, man. Okay. We're gonna go for this Toshiba hard drive, $134. And for the video card, this is where it's going to get very complicated. Very, very complicated. And I also think, just to make this build a lot better budget friendly, I'm going to change the CPU cooler. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get something a little bit more affordable. Definitely not this one. That's not affordable at all. But I think for a bit more affordable, we're probably just gonna stick to the traditional air cooler, and we're gonna go for the Thermalright Peerless Assassin. Let's do that. And then for the video card, we can go for something that's in a very much lower price range. So we're gonna filter this to 140, 149. I don't know if that's actually gonna work. This gives us pretty crappy stuff. Let's see if we can actually make this work. It's a bit. It needs at least 200, I think. I think this has integrated graphics in it though. Let me see. Does AMD Ryzen 7 7700X have integrated graphics? Yes, it does. So it has integrated graphics, so we're not going to get a GPU for this build because very expensive and not in our budget constraints. So yeah, I am going to take a tiny look though, to be honest. Maybe the 3050, maybe this will fit. Cutting it close. Yeah, we can't do that, unfortunately. Maybe if we do like a 3060, we're gonna do a 3060 and see. 3060 is $500 now? What's happened to the industry? This is crazy. Okay, well, I guess we're gonna get the integrated graphics. We're not gonna get a graphics card for this one, unfortunately. We're gonna go for a cheap case available that's budget friendly and looks nice. So for this one, we don't have much. We can't be very picky, okay? So I think that for this one, like we said earlier, I'm going to get the Montech XR. This is one of the most budget-friendly cases you can get. It's $93 Canadian, which is banger deal. Paid like $400 for mine, so. Power supply. This is the one you can't skimp out on. But you can get something like a 2024 power supply. 650 watts is okay. But I think we're going to go for the 800 watt ATX fully modular power supply. And that leaves us with a little bit more money we can spend, and we can even get some more storage. We can go ahead and we see how much we actually have. 245. Yeah, we can get more storage. Let's get more storage. We will not be buying Windows because you guys can actually get Windows for free if you just don't activate it. So we're not doing that. I haven't even bought Windows myself personally, so I wouldn't recommend it. But we are not going to be able to do more memory. We can do more storage though. So we're going to do more storage, and we're probably going to opt for the same hard drive again. Yeah. This is actually a good build. Perfect. So there you have it. We are using the AMD Ryzen 7 7700X3D 4.5 GHz 8-core processor. It runs on the AM4 architecture. We went with the Thermalright Peerless Assassin 120 SE CPU cooler since it balances both budget-friendly option. It's a good quality build. It'll last years to come, and it has the low price tag of $48 Canadian. Not to mention, we also have found out the error that I made earlier. It is AM5, and also we chose the Gigabyte B650 Eagle AX ATX AM5 motherboard. Got the Team Group T-Force Delta RGB 16 gigabyte set of DDR5 running on 6,000 megatransfers. 2 Toshiba 500 gigabyte 7,200 RPM physical SATA hard drives. And we went with the Montech XR ATX mid-tower case and the Corsair RM850E fully modular ATX power supply. All of which come with a warranty and will last you for years to come. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video because it is about to end now. But yeah, RAM prices have been creeping up again, so finding something decent that doesn't cost a fortune has been much harder than it thinks. But this definitely hits the sweet spot. SSDs also used to be dirt cheap, and the prices have been bouncing like crazy lately, as we saw earlier. That's why we had to adjust our budget to $1,379 Canadian. Our original budget was $750, which is actually kind of unrealistic nowadays, which I'm very mind blown about. But yeah, we went with no GPU, and this is all the specifications that we chose for this system. If you guys want the full part list, you can look in the pinned comment on the video, and you can click the link there to get all the parts and stuff that you need. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you liked it, consider subscribing, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.